Radiant team, battle. Reserve time.
That was some pretty bland.
Reserve time.
Because everyone plays a pretty baller ball.
Yeah.
But
5 seconds.
you don't really want that.
Reserve time.
That's her speciality, but
Dire
she doesn't do much else other than that. So I'm not the biggest fan. I think she's okay right now. I think if you have a particularly skilled quap player, she can be good. But
Right.
in general, there are other mids that just bring a little more to the
I
table.
think the idea was just to have a good mobility
10
mid that's
seconds
going to be able
remaining.
to.
She is hard to gank too. That's true.
Yeah, it's going to be a hero that's going to be able to get away
5
from the
seconds
IO tiny
remaining.
teleport in. Then you want it to be someone that can get away from it. If you see the wisp balls coming in, you can just run away really fast.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea. Puck was banned out, so they got the second best in the game.
Yeah.
Same thing with Weaver.
Radiant team,
Weaver's pretty good about dealing with tiny wisp ganks because you Qcy away or time lapse if the initial avalanche toss combo doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
Which it's hard for it not to when you have a health pool like Weaver.
Yeah. Oh,
10
well,
seconds
I don't know. It's sort of on
remaining.
both sides of the fence. Bane is really good against Weaver. Gets a lot of lockdown,
5
and Weaver
seconds
tends to shine
remaining.
in environments where there isn't a lot of lockdown on the opposition. Of course, you've got Tiny with the avalanche, but that's it's sort of like in the middle. They have some tools to deal with Weaver. It's going to be just a neutral game. It's not going to be easy, not going to be hard.
Right.
It's just going to be kind of a regular old game for the little Weavy there. But
Apparently my mic needs to be knocked up a little
You need
bit,
to
which
be
is
knocked
rare
up.
for me. Usually I'm screaming. Into
well,
the mic.
it is the morning time.
I guess I just
here.
woke up. I'm usually casting in the afternoon.
Maybe
instead.
if Trixie gets a hand, she'll get excited.
Oh God, and I'll yell at
Start
him.
yelling
I don't
a
think
little
Trixie goes Midas on Darkseer.
I'm not so sure.
Bones
seconds
is almost Bone
remaining.
7 and someone else exclusively, and the Tinker. Yeah.
Whoa! All right.
I like this.
So that's a Honey Tinker. Right?
yeah, it's
That's,
a Honey Tinker.
Interesting.
I don't
Wow,
know.
that's exciting.
I don't know
'cause-
if I've seen Honey play. I know he does play Tinker. I don't remember the last time
Can
I
we check
saw
this
him.
out? Yeah.
I can see how he is on Tinker.
You know,
yeah.
we've been seeing more and more Tinker recently, and
good hero.
I like it. I'm a fan.
Tinker's just a hero that doesn't fall off. Like, I can't think
10
of another
seconds
intelligence-based hero that is
remaining.
good throughout the game like Tinker is. Because
5 seconds
as long as you're getting items,
remaining.
you're staying relevant. Double sheep is always going to be.
Ooh, Row Ranger final.
All right. The Dro Visage combo is very strong.
Oh right, the aura
Yeah,
and the
the
birds.
aura affects
Okay.
the birdies.
It took me a second. I was
Your
like,
little gargoyle babies are going to be hitting really hard.
It's true, actually. We have seen this combo once or twice. I think I've casted. The game that I covered when there was a Visage Dro combo was a very one-sided game skill-wise.
Cloud9 running it, right?
I think so. I believe so. I can't remember exactly which game
They
it
like to
was.
run that strat. That's really the only time I like them playing Drow Rangers when they actually get AU out
Yeah,
Visage.
it's one of those things that sounds kind of silly, like, oh yeah, well they'll get a little damage buff. It's not a little damage buff. It's a big damage buff.
huge.
And the thing about the Visage Familiars is they do low amounts of damage very quickly. They have a very low base auto attack, so it's like pew, pew,
Yeah,
pew, pew,
yeah,
pew.
it's a little.
So
it's
adding
confused.
just a little bit of damage to that really ups their effective damage per second.
Exactly.
Which is what makes it so dirty. So
it's
the
really good.
numbers are, yeah.
It's really good too because they can just stay attacking instead of having to slam down to get their charges back because their base attack is still enough to do damage. Because normally after you attack with them a couple of times, they're just useless. They're hitting you for like 12 a plop. But with that Drow aura, they start hitting a lot harder.
Yeah. So, interesting. The thing that I worry about for Q Insane, though, is their team is very squishy. The only saving grace they have is Dazzle Shallow Grave, and they'll actually do a 5-man smoke out of the gate here to get things rolling. But other than that, no strength heroes, very squishy, very susceptible to that tiny combo of avalanche and toss.
This Drow very well could be food as soon as the relocate comes online.
And I mean, they've got Bane, who will be able to solo some of these heroes as well.
Uh-oh,
Fly, he's in some trouble. There's the Grave Shield to start it off. Ink Visitor, Shikuchi's forward. And there's actually a dagger from Judo as well. But
no tail.
good guy, no tail. He tethers to his friend, and looks like Bane will survive. So a noble effort from Insane, but unfortunately for them, they will walk away empty-handed.
That was good. That was a good movement. That was a good path by Fly to go straight towards the tower, not to freak out.
Yeah.
Some heroes, some players will want to kind of freak out and they'll run the wrong way. Or they'll try to run to the top because they have the more immediate tree cover. Like they fog them faster. But you know, if he could get to his tower, he would be safe. So yeah, smart decision.
So let's introduce these rosters. Here on the Radiant side, we've got Q Insane. We'll have Judo playing on the Queen of Pain, probably slated for the solo safe lane, it looks like here.
Yeah.
Will be Joe Ranger in the mid role, played by CY. I would guess that this is Chomi, but I'm not positive. Maybe we'll check that profile if we have a moment here. Big Num will be on the support Dazzle, and he is rotating through the mid lane right now. We'll see where he ends up. Stand-in Tapo, aka Tron, will be on the Visage, and it will be an off-lane Weaver played by Ink Visitor.
For the Fnatic side, we'll have Fly playing the narrowly escaping Bane. We'll have No Tail on his now signature IO, plays a good one. Along with him in lane is going to be Era on the Tiny. Darkseer will be in the off lane, played by Trixie. And Hani will be playing the solo safe lane Tinker.
Yes, indeed. So it will be a Honey Tinker, not quite in the lane that I would have initially thought, but more often than not, we actually see Tiny Wisp in the solo mid, well, in the duo mid.
The duo mid.
Yeah, Fnatic really like to do that. And it's not so crazy now, but every so often it catches their opponents off guard. And as we see, Big Num is already rotated in, so it will be a Dazzle Dro lane to try and deal with the scary Tiny Wisp.
You know, I've seen a lot of Dazzle dual mids, very rarely because you want to do it,
Yeah.
and way more often because the other team's running a dual mid and you realize you can't leave your hero alone against a dual mid. And I've never really been impressed with what Dazzle brings to a dual mid.
Yeah, he's not a particularly great dual mid hero. I think he's only good in a dual lane if it's a kill lane. If it's like a Dazzle carry Naga or something where there's a lot of synergy with some minus armor in the physical, and you can just obliterate people.
The thing that he brings to the lane here is that Drow has no way to push the creep wave out, right? So she can right click, but she can't really do anything else. And Dazzle Shadow Wave does that, but he can't spam Shadow Wave enough. Like, this Dazzle's not going to be getting a bottle. He's got a clarity or two, but he hasn't even leveled Shadow Wave yet, so he's not going to be able to pick up a
Top
effectively.
flies in a little bit of trouble. Looks like they might dive him here. Ink Visitor, he's looking for that one last auto attack. The Geminate,
yes.
here's the first blood. Oh boy, this is a little bit rough for Fnatic. Now Hani getting completely zoned out as well as Tron pushes him back. Bane will respawn and ports to the tier 2 tower, but a very close call. Bane stood his ground and actually almost finished off Ink Visitor, but as we saw, that one last little Geminate attack, that value point at level 2, man. Whew. Well done. So Q Insane off to the races here. They'll grab the first blood and take a small little golden experience lead.
It's always worth that level 2 point in Geminate attack. The Swarm is not good early. It's much better to have that extra harass, that extra damage.
The thing about Swarm that makes it potentially good early is the scouting tool. It does give you vision. So that's one thing that it's not about the damage necessarily as much as it is about just...
They're going to go on Hani.
Yeah, and they might be able to grab a kill right here. There's not much Bane can do to stop him. He'll throw out the Nightmare, but Ink Visitor, he'll just Shikuchi forward and see you later. A heat-seeking missile comes out, but that won't be nearly enough. Ink Visitor off to the races, 2-0 to get things going here.
This is just a very strong dual lane with both Weaver and Visage able to pump out a lot of damage at very early levels. And Tinker is not exactly someone who's resilient to pressure early. He does no escape mechanism. He's got burst damage, yes, but he doesn't really have the mana pool to sustain that early and to keep it up, to keep the other team low.
Yeah, and this is
no
kind of unfortunate for Fnatic because Tinker is generally a solo hero. He's one of those solo mids that, yeah, he needs farm, but he also really needs experience. And he needs those early boots of travel. And not only is he dying up here, but he's not really farming that well either. Tinker's only 8-0. Weaver is 13-2. It's just not going well. And there's not much they can do about it. I mean, Darkseer, he can't really rotate that much. He could move into the jungle and then give Tinker the off lane. Yeah, we see No Tail taking some damage in the mid there, but their lanes are kind of rigid at this point, and it's a little bit unfortunate. They might have been better off putting Darkseer up top where he can survive against the Weaver a bit easier, and then maybe putting Tinker in the hard lane, even though that sounds kind of weird. He would have an easier matchup against Queen of Pain.
Right. And it's not like the hard lane is that hard anymore.
Yeah.
So it would be fine.
Yeah, the disparity between the lanes ain't what it used to be.
And you're on Dire, so you can throw some marches into the Dire camp, the Dire Ancient camp if you need to.
Yeah, now the nice thing about Tinker is he can be an okay recovery hero, especially if the support starts stacking Ancients, which they haven't done quite yet, but, well, you never know. Maybe Trixie could move over there and start doing some work on that front. At least Tinker will have that option to clear out some Ancient stacks, use the March of the Machines, and try to come online. Without early BOTs, he won't have that same impact that most Tinkers were used to seeing.
Right. And it's interesting that he hasn't skilled March at all. He's going for the Laser Rockets build, which I think is really just to try to burst down this Weaver. Yeah. Since you're not in mid lane, you don't really want the creep wave to push, so he can't exactly be spamming March. Yeah, but I think it makes sense for as a lane build. but it's still
Yes.
interesting because you don't see it a whole lot.
Yes, I agree on both fronts. You really don't see it too often. March seems to be the way most Tinkers go, at least the few that we've seen over the past couple weeks. And this build is not that bad. It is very burst intensive. The heat-seeking missiles in particular, if you're up against a duo lane, one of the most damage-efficient abilities for the mana, because it's only 175 at level 2 for 140 mana, but it hits 2 heroes. So you can really put out a lot of effective damage early on. But yeah, things have quieted down a little bit. How is Tiny's farm looking? Let's take a gander at net worth here. And he's middle of the pack. He's doing okay. Slightly ahead of the Dro, but nowhere even close to the Weaver or the Queen of Pain for that matter, who are both kind of having a field day here.
This is such a PvE lane bottom.
Yeah.
They're just kind of acting like each other don't exist and just farming away. They know they can't kill each other, so they're just happy to let it be.
Yeah, especially for Queen of Pain. Darkseer is so hard for her to kill. Her big killing tool is the slow from the dagger, and of course he has Surge. So that's,
the Dazzle gets gone on mid.
Oh, he'll get off the shallow grave and survives the initial burst. They won't follow up. It'll just take a couple of wisp balls to finish him off, but No-Tail won't be in position to do it.
He was so close to having that toss kill him off.
That was a really clutch grave from Dazzle, right in the nick of time. And here we go.
Oh, and Avalanche forward. Oh, can't get close enough to get the toss.
Doesn't look like it. Dro does have boots. Tiny
still
actually
going.
has power treads, but he doesn't have grow yet, so he is just so slow. That's something a lot of people don't realize, is that Tiny also gets movement speed from his ultimate.
Oh, and the Sonic Wave.
Oh, wow. I kind of caught it.
That was from downtown, man. That was from downtown.
But yeah, a lot of folks don't realize that the ultimate actually gives movement speed, so even though he has power treads, he's still slower than the Dro right now, because he doesn't have grow. So
especially when it's not tethered up.
Yeah, kind of a silly commit right there. And a good rotation from Queen of Pain to finish off No-Tail. And that will make it 3-0 here at the 7-minute mark. So Q Insane, they're really off to a good start. Fnatic maybe in a little bit of trouble down bottom.
Oh, and he gets up top.
Yeah.
Well, Nightmare, the Tinker was able to just throw 2 nukes off and he was dead immediately.
All right, well. Looks like he did make the right choice with that build. I thought Trixie was going to take a spill down bottom after that rotation from Dazzle, but he will survive as No-Tail tethers his way over. That one, my bad, but that is one of the good things about this build from Tinker and actually going for that.
Weaver went from full health to 0.
Yeah, that third point and
hard
laser.
to catch.
It's a lot of burst. Yeah. Not so much that it's super hard to catch it. I thought Trixie was going to be the next one to fall. I was trying to hedge my bets there in the bottom lane, but well, can't win them all, I suppose. So Trixie has actually taken over as the leading farmer now on net worth, now that Weaver is finally taking a trip back to the grave. And what's kind of scary for this Weaver is nothing is going to stop Flying Honey from doing that again. That was a pretty easy setup as well. Nightmare and then just into a couple of, I guess the laser is a skill shot, but when they're Nightmare, that makes it pretty easy. The only thing that they'll be waiting for is Hani's mana pool, which unfortunately is suffering right now. He doesn't have a bottle, doesn't have a soul ring, but he does have a fair bit of gold. 1,500.
He's not that far away from his bots.
Yeah, he'll have decently timed boots of travel as long as he doesn't get picked off again in the time it takes him to farm another 500 gold or so.
Here's Era finally getting his level 6. 8 minutes into the game, not exactly what you want when you're running a dual mid, but it's passable, and they're going to try to dive here. Mid.
And Dro using that new silent positioning tool, but they'll walk right into Dazzle. Poison Touch out onto No-Tail. And Dro taking some heavy damage, but this is a hard dive. I don't think they really want to go for it.
I think Era's dead here.
Yeah, Tron ports in. No-Tail doesn't have a lot of hit points to play around with either. He does have some bottle charges, though. Dyer's Courier gets picked off. One micro from Fnatic right there, who was on his way in.
They're turn around
on the Visage, and there you go. Well done. Good use of the bottle, and they get back up to full health. Sharing is caring, as they like to say. So Fnatic get another kill on the board, and their dive is worth it, though. Yeah. It almost looks like they were going to overextend.
The strength of the bottle rush on the IO.
Yeah.
No-Tail's been the one checking the wards. He had a regen ring, so he was able to defend his overly diving area. They're going to go on bottom and get another kill.
See ya, Judo. This is part of the problem when I looked at this draft of how squishy they are. Tiny's combo isn't even in full effect yet. Avalanche still has 2 points to go, and they're already just dropping these squishy heroes. Yeah. We will see this bottom tier 1 tower get picked off as well. It looks like Glyph comes out from the Radiant, but Trixie will be happy to touch a wave. And he is going hand to Midas on that Darkseer. He's got the recipe sitting at home.
Okay.
So there you have it.
No comment.
No comment. Weaver level 7. Hani picking up a little bit of solo XP here. It looks like his boots of travel, well, they would be on the way if they had a courier, but courier's still down for another 2 minutes, so There you go. He'll have his boots of travel. Did Bane deliver those for him? Is that what just happened?
I'm not sure, actually.
I think he might have. I don't know how else Hani would have gotten them. So, Hani didn't leave the lane.
Okay.
But there you go. Bane doubles as a courier. When in doubt, give it to your Bane.
I've done that before. I've told players on my team to just act as a courier before.
Yeah.
It wasn't being serious. It was more being mean. But
I guess it can be viable though if your courier gets picked off in an untimely manner. But yeah, Tiny and Wisp are just starting to pick up that momentum, and we will see Tiny grab his drums. Yep, there you go. And No Tail again working as the courier for him.
And I did get level 6 on that kill bot, so they are ready to go.
They are ready to relocate and set up more kills. And again, now that Hani has the boots of travel, he is level 7, has at least a point in March. He'll be able to start moving around and, well, at least participate in fights if they need him, and also just start racking up that farm a little bit. Still a very quiet game, though. Only 6 kills
they're
here.
Gonna go bot.
In 11 minutes. And, oh, there you go. Queen of Pain. She'll get dropped again. Need to just follow this Tiny Wisp around. The burst damage in this game is too much.
I'm on Tiny IO watch. That's what I'm doing for you, man. I'm yelling.
All right,
calling it out whenever it happens.
Need to make my minimap icons a little bigger. This is one of those games where you have to really, like, okay, who is gonna get ganked next, because you won't have time to react once they start taking damage. It's an all or nothing
burst damage all across the board.
Yeah, even not just the Tiny Wisp, also the Tinker, as we sort of saw with that Weaver, as we heard about from that Weaver in the top lane. Ooh, Dazzle, he actually takes a toss in the mid.
They're gonna go. Oh, good time lapse out of the Inquisitor top.
They also have a Sentry Ward down here right in the middle of the lane, so that'll make Inquisitor's time up top a bit more difficult as well. Total tower count is 1 to 0. If we look at the gold graph, Fnatic ahead by just about 3,000 gold, somewhere about 2,000 experience. They are ahead in 1 hero kill, and just harassing back here, throwing some damage to the Dro. And Dazzle will be there to heal her up. The Courier will respond for Fnatic, and there you go. That's Tinker's Soul Ring that I'm sure the Courier will be delivering.
And Hani's getting started on the Ancients down here.
Yep, he will stack it up himself, actually. Only a double stack right now, Thunder Lizards as well as the Dragons. But you got to start somewhere, and there really wasn't anybody too well suited to deal with it. Trixie, although he could have stacked the Ancients, he did a good job putting pressure in that bottom lane and not giving Queen of Pain any extra room to farm than she already had. And his Hand of Midas is already in full effect. He's got the Arcane Boots complete, and he is just farming away, happy as a clam. Number 2 on the net worth chart. Inquisitor doing power shred.
He's still doing all right.
About it.
Especially considering he was an off-lane Weaver. He's off-lane dual lane, so.
Actually, both the supports are smoked up here in the top lane.
He's gonna need that Linken's pretty fast.
Yeah. Perhaps they can do something.
Oh, God, those Fly.
They do some damage. And Fly, they'll just put him in the Nightmare, and maybe Fly's gonna hang around way too long. He'll take a poison touch.
So here comes Tony.
The relocate, and Maze falls to start things off. Trixie comes back in. Queen of Pain with some damage, but Dazzle and Visage just get destroyed. Now Judo in big trouble. Doesn't have a blink for another 3 seconds. I don't think they'll have the damage to finish him off, though. The relocate back, and Judo survives. Still a 2-for-1 going the way of Fnatic. And, whoa, Dro Ranger, she'll get picked
What
off.
a smart choice to bring him back.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
because No Tail really, I mean, Arrow was still chasing for that kill on Quap and had a toss and might be able to throw it in. But No Tail, with the knowledge, with the heads-up play, bringing it back to mid and getting a kill on the Drow.
So it ends up being a 3-for-1 across the map. Fnatic making great use of that Tiny Wisp combo.
Shelby did not think that there was going to be a Tony coming back.
Yeah. And now Tiny, he's well on his way to his Ag Scepter. He's got Point Booster and Staff of Wizardry. And yeah, it's about 1,300 gold until he's going to have that giant branch, and that's really once Tiny starts to get scary. Not just because he cleaves, but they'll be able to push structures more quickly and effectively, and just a solid item all around. Arrow will get engaged upon here in the mid lane, though, and they're actually in a little bit of trouble.
They're throwing everything at him. They can't kill him.
Yeah, No Tail's support is
that
just
point
too much.
booster doing work in No Tail.
And No Tail's regen is huge. They really did blow a lot. Dro doing a lot of damage, uses her.
Use the ultimate. They threw down Weave and bird damage. Oh, but Fly.
That's the bird damage right there. Just dropping Fly. Arrow coming back in. They'll grab a counter kill onto the Dro Ranger. Big Num actually graves himself. I think that might have been a misplay there. Now he's in big trouble. One more auto attack ought to do it. 13 hit points to spare. There's the laser for good measure. They'll grab the double damage rune up top. And Fnatic once again find an effective exchange, a 2-for-1, and they grab the double damage rune in the bottle.
20 once more.
Maybe they can finish off Judo here. There's the avalanche toss. See you later. Quap is an elusive hero, but not when you're too squishy to survive the burst from Tiny. And just another easy kill. And look at this Quap's build. Power treads into Oblivion Staff. She's sitting on int treads as well.
Era's 8-0. He's 400 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. This game's getting ugly fast.
Yes. And you know, Q and Sane were off to a really good start.
They were.
They started out 3-0, and they shut down this Tinker, but now Hani's found some recovery, 5,000 gold, 7,500 experience lead. Trixie's had Handamitis. He will have a mech in just about 200 gold. Tiny's 400 off his Ag Scepter. And how's the Tinker doing? Well, only 900 in the bank right now, but he's farming away, still using those BOTs.
Tinker's more of an insurance plan at this point.
Yeah, it's more, he got the BOTs in a timely manner, so now he can just start moving around. The pressure is off. He's got that core item at least. Inquisitor's in big trouble up top. They drop a Sentry. The Fiend's grip, but a nice ultimate from Dazzle will buy him enough time to time lapse. And he will Shikuchi away. Unfortunately, Dazzle will be caught without the grave for himself. And yeah, that contributes to the godlike streak now for Era.
The massage duo coming in, doing some work.
Yeah. Dazzle, I mean, he's doing what he can, but he can only keep, there's only so many graves he can throw out with all of these squishy heroes. They're just food for Tiny at this point. This is exactly what I was worried about when you draft a lineup of basically all int heroes except that of Weaver.
Right, they haven't been able to react fast enough to these relocate ganks. They've got all these mobile heroes, but they haven't been able to actually respond quickly enough to get away, to blink out, to Qcyber out, to get the Shell Graves on the right heroes. We have more action going on top.
Yeah, Inquisitor doing some damage to Fly. Judo comes in, and, well, they will secure that kill despite the Brain Sap, buying him a little bit of time. And maybe a fight will break out up top. Actually, a 4-man rotation from our Radiant side, but they won't find the kill.
And Drow is...
back to
Era's
safety.
chasing the Drow again.
See you later, Chomi.
Yeah, he's dead.
Once that silence is off, Era, he's not even going to use his mana. He's just going to branch him down. That was a style kill right there.
Structures are fortified.
Is that increased melee attack range with the tree doing some damage?
Yeah, it's worth noting for sure. Top tier 1 tower falls in favor of the Radiant side, but their mid tier 2 will take some pressure.
They're gonna have to come and do something about it. Era's gonna stay right here. He's gonna keep clearing the way fast enough.
Yeah, like I said, that branch makes them do a lot of damage to structures. And they'll back off, but still, a good exchange. I mean, they do a lot of damage to that tier 2. Judo. Oh, he won't show himself. So he could be in a little bit of trouble here if he's not careful. Oh boy, Tiny is feeling brave right now. Only level 12, and I say only lightly.
Only level 12 at 17 minutes into the game.
Only level 12, second highest in
with
the game.
Ag's drum.
Okay, he's a solid level 12. Yeah, the experience is looking a little scary. If you pull up that hero chart, there's a lot of red floating towards the top. Queen of Pain, kind of the only outlier on that front, who's in the middle of the pack, but everyone
Big
else.
Gnome, don't go up the hill, Big Gnome. Okay. Oh, he will go on Inquisitor, but he's got a Sakuchi.
Yeah, Inquisitor is kind of the only elusive target that isn't an easy kill for Tiny. And, ooh, a double damager and spawns up top. Tiny won't contest it. Looks like Weaver will go ahead and just pick it up.
Arrow wanted it so bad, but he knew there were 4 other heroes there.
Yeah. Uh-oh, here we go. Relocate into the mid. Looks like they'll go for the Dro. Judo comes in, drops the ultimate. Actually will secure the kill on the Dio. And No Tail will buy back straight away.
2-man avalanche.
Just doing a lot of damage. Unfortunately, doesn't have much follow-up. Now, Hani joining the fray. And Era is on the back foot. No Tail coming in. Hani does pick up a kill around the backside. And here we go. Fiend's grip into the wall. A lot of damage coming out here onto the Radiant side. Inquisitor just barely staying alive. He'll eventually fall, and it will be a full team wipe. That's a 5-for-1. 1 buyback used, and of course it was the Wisp.
I don't think this Tiny is probably not going to back this match now.
Yeah, I think this one is looking close to a GG.
No Tail's got his urn, so he can just overcharge and earn himself, pop bottle, and he can just damage all the
There you go, 19 minutes. I mean, I want to say that that's a little premature, but I don't think that it is. Tiny is, he's an avalanche rolling down the hill, picking up momentum, and there's just nothing in his way. Nothing slowing him down.
Ooh. That's the ice skin that made him snowball harder. Oh, probably the worst thing I've ever said.
Yeah, of course, Dro is an agility hero. I said
early.
Int hero is less that of Weaver. Obviously, Dro is an agility hero, but for the context of that statement.